Hello, everyone. Hello. Hello. Thank you so much for joining. Hello, Lou. I am trying to get you on now. Okay. It doesn't give an option to invite you again. For some reason, I don't know what's going on. Just wouldn't let me invite you.
Can you accept it? I just added you. Yes. Can you accept it? It's on the screen. It's waiting to add you on camera. Woohoo!
Oh my goodness.
Finally!
I don't know. Here we are.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Thank you for your patience. Now we have to try to share this on my other group. Okay, so I have refused to touch this. I don't want this to go off again.
I know. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Perfect.
And thank you for your patience. Oh my goodness. You came out so early to do this for me. Thank you, Lou. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. And please accept my apologies. It's probably on my end, the technology issue. I'm very sorry, Louisa, to keep your friends waiting.
I'm also a goddess, whatever. So, fine.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just trying to get people to see how I can get them, to so I'm gonna have to run 2 different lives. Hello, Jacqueline. So good to have you. Hi, Jacqueline. Thank you. Jacqueline, can you share this on my personal page? For some reason, I'm not able to do that. Hello, hello. Hello, Jessica. Just give me a minute. I'm just trying to share this on my personal page. We have people waiting. Nothing share this on my page. It's not coming on my page. We have a lot of people waiting. Just give me 1 minute, please. Thank you, Jessica. Could you please share this on my personal page? We have people just commenting down there and waiting. Hello, Pharrell. Thank you so much for calling. Thank you.
there?
Okay, great. I just wanted to be sure you could hear me. So we're just going to get this started. Thank you so much for joining in. I just want to say that if you do get this on a replay, you can still leave us some comments. If you're here live, we really do appreciate you. Please drop a comment down below and let us know where you're calling from this morning. For some reason, we cannot get people here. We would probably have to share them on different pages. And do us a favor to share it on your personal page, on your groups, and we will be sure to save the replay here for later on. We have been trying for over an hour just to get this working. So I really do appreciate everyone and your patience. Thank you so much. So welcome. And this is the first session of our Facebook series. You can have access to me here every Monday and Fridays at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time if we do not have this problem. And on Mondays, you can follow us on our Facebook business Facebook page, which is So Unique Experts, and we are also on Instagram on So Unique Experts. And if you would like to learn more about what we do, please visit our website. It's www.civilityacademy.com and also www.civilityexperts.com. So, like I said, I do appreciate you. I really thank you so much for being here for the first session of a Facebook series, the Civilized Present. I have been so honored and blown with all the response. Even this morning, when things weren't working, we had over 20 people just waiting. Thank you so much. And this just shows us that people do appreciate the content that we're going to be sharing during this series. Thank you. So for the purpose of those who have never met me before, and because we would have a replay, I would have to introduce myself. My name is Louisa Akaiso, and I am a certified Master Civility Trainer. I hope that you can hear me. I'm a leadership expert. So I work confidently with leaders and professionals that place great importance on themselves and their reputation by helping them embrace their unique greatness and lead their full potential. So you are here because you do have an interest on this topic, and I do believe that we have people in your network who would like to hear from us. Can you please like this video, love the video, or just share it on your page while you're still here? There's a button down below that you can do that on the screen, and we will be happy to build a large community of like-minded individuals over time. Thank you so much. You can also tag someone that you think this video would be beneficial for. Thank you. So the main focus or the goal of this is really to help restore civility through meaningful and constructive conversations. And I would order of my colleagues and experts in this field. So you would have different people, different days. Today we have the beautiful Dr. Lou Bayer on the screen here with us. There has been a lot of questions about civility, as people do not really understand what civility is. Some people think it's so complicated, or it is this great term, and how can I really do it? So during this series, what we would try to do is break it down into tiny little bits, and you would come to see how it is for you to see. So I have a question for you. When was the last time that you actually said thank you? Or just to the person next to you, or something as easy as smiling first thing in the morning. So civility is really a central concern in our life. If there is one thing that you should take out of the series, is to be able to think differently and see civility as a code of decency to apply in our everyday life. So the question at this point would be, what is civility? what is etiquette, and people want to know the difference between etiquette, civility, and manners. And do you think that civility really is in a decline? Or do you think that, like etiquette, there are certain rules that we have to keep to become civil? Now, like Henry James had stated that in a human life, the three most important things are the first one is to be kind. Just 1 second. Sorry. First is to be kind. Second is to be kind. And the third is to be kind. So really, as professionals or entrepreneurs, I want you to know that you can only really measure your success by how you treat people every day. And you can do this by embracing a new code of behavior through respect, responsibility, and restraint. So really allows you to connect and build healthy relationships with other people. For example, if you came across someone who would just say the wrong things to you or abuse you and make you feel horrible, guess what? Your self-esteem can get easily bruised by that act of incivility. But if I said all the right things to you, what I'm doing to you is that I'm helping you validate yourself and kind of see yourself as someone of value. So you feel like, oh, I'm not alone. My values just have meaning. So like I have mentioned at the beginning of this session, that we would be learning about what civility is, how can we get to practice it amongst our friends, our co-workers, or people around us. And we would be learning this morning by the best, the experts, my mentor. I just do not call anyone my mentor. I call her my mentor, and I'm proud of that. So allow me to brag about her a bit, because I love what she stands for and how many lives that she's impacted. So I'm going to introduce to you Dr. Lou Bayer from Civility Experts Worldwide. And I am proud to say that that's the only company that has put together a certification program in civility in the whole wide world. Over to you, Lou. Thank you.
Thank you, Louisa. Can you hear me well?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. Thank you. So first, I want to tell you how grateful I am to be invited to do this session with you today. I think that it's brilliant that we would have a series like this, that you can introduce the concepts of civility to people who really don't know what we're talking about. I think it's a really brilliant forum. And clearly, I am not tech savvy, so I'm glad that Louisa, you've got all those skills and opportunities to take that on. I also want to say that it's really a privilege for me to work with Louisa and with all of the other affiliates that I have had the good fortune of working with. It's a terrible compliment that Louisa would call me a mentor, but I feel like I learn as much from her and from all of the other affiliates who are gracious enough to give me some of their time. So it's really a two-way street, and I think one of the things you'll find when you people is that they tend to be, as Louisa is, gracious and full of gratitude and certainly generous. So I encourage all of you, as Louisa has, to share what you know about civility and share Louisa's, to attend and don't stop talking about civility. So Louisa asked me to cover a few things specifically. I want to start with this concept of what is civility. So oftentimes people have a misunderstanding. They think that civility is just manners or etiquette. And what I can say is that we have social rules for a reason. Etiquette is the rules. Manners is a way of exhibiting the rules. But in and of itself, following the rules is not enough. Civility, when we use the term sort of broadly, incorporates etiquette and manners, but it's much bigger than that. So civility is a values proposition. It's an attitude. It's part of your core and character that drives your decision making. So civility is an approach. It's a way of life. It's what leads you to exhibit manners and to follow the etiquette rules. So we have a particular definition of civility that incorporates a conscious awareness, a continuous acknowledgement, and a consistent effort. And those three things are critical. You have to have all three to be civil. And when you have a definition like that, it makes civility measurable. And that's important these days because it's not enough just to say, be nice. I hope that's making sense.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay, so Louisa also asked me to speak a little bit about why civility is important. And so depending on the kind of work you do and the community you live in, even the culture that you're from, civility has different value for different people. In terms of a global view, my feeling, and I know that Louisa supports this, she was just in some statesman training with me a couple of weeks ago, but from a global point of view, civility is one avenue to foster cultures of honor. It's one way to encourage people to be humankind. It's one way to broker peace. There's large-scale impacts when we have a collective approach where people are embracing and choosing civility. But on a more local level, we see in workplaces, civility can foster innovation, team orientation. There's evidence that it increases productivity, retention, engagement, trust. We see that it impacts workplace wellness. We see that it helps with organizational capacity and reputation. And then if we take even a further step back on a personal and individual level, we know that choosing civility can build a person's confidence, their self-esteem. It can help them improve their communication skills, build meaningful and long-lasting relationships. It eases your way in social situations. It helps you to be perceived as a person of character who has influence in certain circles. So there's all sorts of benefits, personal benefits, collective workplace, community benefits. We see civility and community fosters social capital. And then, of course, these far-reaching, broader global benefits of civility as well.
Thank you so much, Liz. So from what we just gathered, civility is about putting ourselves in other people's shoes. So treating others the same way we want to be treated. It could also be called a golden rule. Can you just kind of tell us how civility and golden rule is related? We just finished the statesman training, and I've had so many questions on my personal page about golden rule civility, and I think that's a good forum for us to talk about that. Thank you.
Sure. So thank you for asking. Golden Rule Civility Global Initiative is an initiative that civility experts and kind of as such, all of our affiliates are invited to join in as well. But it's a joint initiative between I Change Nations, which is an organization that's been around for about 10 years, and their mission is to honor individuals and organizations and governments even who are engaging in peacekeeping and honor building activities. And so Golden Rule, which is their focus, is this philosophy, as you've stated, where people are encouraged to think about treating others how they would want to be treated. And it's a wonderful idea. It's been around for hundreds of years in different cultures and in different ways. And the messaging is pretty clear. Think about somebody else before you think about yourself. Ask yourself the golden rule question, meaning, if I were on the receiving end of this treatment, would I want to be treated the way I'm treating this other person or these other people? And it's an easy yes or no answer. But what Dr. Rivers, who spearheads that golden rule Honor and Peacekeeping Initiative discovered that many people agree, as I'm sure everybody on the call today do, that you should treat others how you want to be treated, that it's important to value people and honor them and be respectful. The problem lies in that many people who have not experienced civility in their daily life don't know how to show respect. They don't know what honor looks like. They don't know what it means to engage in civil dialogue. They don't understand that there's real skills and strategies, that it's a lifelong pursuit, a continuous learning endeavor. You don't just become civil overnight, and wanting to be a good person, believing that it's an important, adopting as a core value, that's a big part of it. But at the end of the day, you have to do something with it. And so civility, because it's a measurable, skill-based competency, is a way that we can help people use their positive attitude and their value of the golden rule in practical day-to-day ways that make sense and really facilitate change.
Thank you, Lou. Civility, from what we're learning from you this morning, is a fundamental to living a successful life. So it is very important that we foster civility. Can you kind of expand a little bit? Because we do have etiquette, we have manners, and sometimes people think civility is just impossible to do this on a regular basis. So now that we have the expert here, we're going to make use of it and ask one more question. And how important is it for us to foster civility in our society? And what are the easy steps that one can begin if we're just hearing this message for the first time?
Okay, so I would say that it's critical at this point, whether it's in our home or at the softball field or at school or on the bus, on the airplane when we're on a holiday, wherever you are, we have opportunities to make life better for ourselves and our families, strangers, by choosing civility. It's really critical. We see all sorts of research suggesting that incivility is leading to violence now. We see that in the news on a daily basis. We see that people are suffering, mental illness projected for an all-time high, and much of that depression as a category of mental illness is attributed to stress, which is also attributed to incivility. So, we're really at a point where it's critical, and I'm hard-pressed to think of a situation where civility can't improve things. You asked, what can we do? So, for example, 5 things that individuals, what's the starting point to sort of get on that path? And I would say the first thing is to define civility. So be able to express in your own words in a way that means something to you and to the people that you're interacting with. Be able to describe civility so that it makes sense. And if you have to simplify it, that it means choosing kindness wherever you are. Maybe it is about treating people equally. Maybe you use the respect word. There's nothing really wrong or incorrect. I think the most important thing is that you think about it and then choose a definition that you can justify, that you can apply in practice, that makes sense. So the first thing is define the term. The second thing I would say is that civility starts at home, meaning it starts with me, like with each of us. And so it's not reasonable that I expect other people to be kind or civil unless I can adopt that as a personal value and I choose civility and work hard to be the best that I can be every day. And I think you need to take 2 weeks or 2 months even and really focus on yourself, read and research and examine your own behavior. Make a note when you have a negative thought. Be deliberate in apologizing when you know you've made errors, and really practice civility with yourself in your own way for a short time before you start to have a notion of expecting it from others. I think that's really important. The third thing I would say is assume the best of people. So I believe some do to social media, but we live in a culture where people seem to sometimes look to be insulted. They're documenting negativity more than they're documenting positivity. They seek to be offended in some cases. And I think if we go into every situation assuming the best of people instead of the worst, that can really change what we hear and what we see and how we react. And I think it's as simple as deciding, as Einstein says, do we live in a friendly universe or a hostile universe? And if you believe you live in a friendly universe and that's your approach when you wake up and leave the bed every morning, it really helps you assume the best of people. And I think that that's very, very important. The fourth thing I would say is to think about the end in mind. Always have in your head, what does a better future look like? Don't try to focus on how we got here or what people are doing wrong. Instead, focus on what's coming next and be hopeful and positive and anticipate the best. This forward-thinking, end in mind approach to everything. I really feel that it changes how we think, and it forces us to focus on solutions rather than problems. And for me, it's an energizing, positive way of looking at the world. And then I would say the last thing is acknowledge that you're human, everyone else is human, and when you make a mistake, which you're going to do, even in spite of your best efforts to be civil and positive, when you make those mistakes, repair. And by repair, I mean fix it. Apologize, find some remedy, and do that quickly and easily. Don't think too hard about, will I look weak if I apologize, or are they going to hold a grudge because I acknowledged my mistake? I would say from the heart, just repair as quickly as possible. So sometimes you don't even know for sure you've caused offense, but if there's even an inkling that you might have, just get in the habit of repairing. And I believe it gives people permission to do that on their own too, because we live in a culture where many people are afraid to admit a shortcoming or a weakness. We are very ego-oriented. We want to brag and have accolades and fame and so on. And these days, it's more important, I think, that we show that we value people, and trust is important, and so we repair whenever we can.
Thank you so much, Lou. I think you've covered a lot of everything that what we had for today. And this session really birthed from all of the questions that we're having after the Civilized Statesman's training. We had a lot of people who would want to be involved in civility coming for training, and so I kept getting messages every single day. Can you just use this opportunity? We have lots of our viewers from Canada, and I do know that there is a huge opportunity for civility experts in Canada. Can we just use the next 1 or 2 minutes just to talk about what is the path that people can go if they get trained? Because we have a lot of people who are interested in following this path.
Sure. So there's a couple of options. Of course, through Civility Academy, I know that you're offering a Train the Trainer for both adults and for children. I don't have those dates in front of me, but I'm sure you'll mention that. Civility Experts offers a distance trainer program too if people aren't able to make it to Washington or Virginia to attend the live trainer through Civility Academy. In addition, we do have Golden Rule Civility Statesman training being offered. Again, the next delivery is in July. And you can get some credit towards ICTC certification through Statesman training or through the Certified Civility Trainer or Courtesy Coach through Civility Academy. I know that some of our affiliates are on the line, Joanne in Malaysia, for example, and we're offering, I believe there's 20 dates for certification training through Civility Experts all around the world. And so, again, if you can't make it to Virginia, even if you're, um, we are in close contact and a good referral network. And whether it's distance or live, statesman or civility trainer, there's all sorts of opportunities, and there's big demand for civility trainers. So please reach out to Louisa, and she can hook you up.
Thank you, Lou. Thank you so much. So we've learned a lot today, and most importantly is that civility will help improve the quality of your life. Civility is about people's treatment. Thank you, Lou. We couldn't have learned from anyone that's better than that. That is the highest expert that we have. And I am so happy and honored and thankful that you were able to just hang tight even when I couldn't really figure out my system. Thank you. And so to our viewers, thank you for your time. And we'll be here same time, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Monday. I will be on live. I want to believe that we wouldn't have any problem at that time. So it's going to be 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. I'll see you then. Thank you so much for calling in. Bye for now.